Hello again, you've reached Module 3, which means that you have been successful at unpacking standards and designing broad measurable objectives for single content area grade level 15 to 40 minute lesson. Following the methods of understanding by design, we are now going to add assessments onto your lesson design. The objective for Module 3 is to design assessments that are measurable outcomes and align. That means they have the same type of thinking and doing as your objective. We call that UBD Stage 2. Your tasks are, again, to read, watch, and use the resources provided, and then work on adding the assessments to the lesson design you already started. Don't start a new lesson design, stay on that same template and add to it, and I'll show you an example of that. And then, of course, I've provided for you several resources inside the module for you to look at on your own, and a checking for understanding. Let's go ahead and get into Module 3. In Module 3, you'll find the checking for understanding, the objectives to assessments, the slides I'm going to go over right now, an example that we're going to talk about, and then I have some resources for you to look at on your own. A short video about assessment based on Bloom, some thoughts on assessment. It's very short to read. If you're unfamiliar with this process, if you're new to teaching, some 25 quick formative assessments might give you some inspiration. And here's some differentiated assessments for you to look at. Just some ideas for you to give you some thinking about what an assessment is and what it should look like. And of course, the assignment drop box where you will submit your work. So let's go ahead and look at how we move from objectives to assessments. So you've written some broad, measurable objectives. Now you want to know if the students know and can do the things you want them to know and be able to do. So if we limited our two objectives to I can explain the value of community service and I can discuss issues, build consensus, and vote, our assessments might look something like this. Our assessments are going to be more specific. Remember, we wanted our objectives to be broad, so we can our objective can be something like I can explain the value of an idea. And we can use that over and over again and practice that and think about it and work on it with kids. But our assessment needs to be more specific, because in an assessment, it's only fair. Think about it if you were being assessed. You want to know exactly what you're supposed to do and exactly how it's going to be measured. So our assessment, we want it to be less broad. We want it to be more specific. We want it to be able to, as we'll get to later in the course, be able to write a rubric for it. So I became much more specific with my assessment. I want to know if students can explain the value of community service. How do I know they can know and do that? I'm going to have them create an infographic, video, or web page explaining the value of community service. You'll notice I included choice in the assessment. Choice is really important in learning, and it's really important when we want to differentiate, that is, provide opportunities for all students to be successful. Choice is really a very easy way for a new teacher to do that. So I'm going to give my students the opportunity to choose if they want to do an infographic, a short video, or a web page explaining the value of community service. And you don't need to do it for this activity, but in the next section of the course, we'll be writing a rubric for that. My second objective was that they can discuss issues, build consensus, and vote. My assessment is going to become more specific. I can work as a team member to choose topics of interest, to choose tasks and products, and the assessments will be self and peer feedback and teacher observation. So what you can see from the assessments is that you can start seeing the more specific work they're going to be doing in Stage 3, because I'm having them do specific tasks related to an idea that's the objective. So let's go ahead and look at what that would look like on my lesson design template. So again, this is the same template I used for Module 1 for my objective. So all that work at the top is done. Maybe I've added some more materials that I think I might need. And if we look down here at my final product for this, I had my Stage 1 objectives. I can name important characteristics of an idea. I can explain the value of an idea. And I can discuss issues, build consensus, and vote. You see, these are very broad. Remember, we want them to be broad, reusable, and measurable. So these are very broad. Characteristics of an idea, very broad. Value of an idea, really broad. And discuss issues, build consensus, and vote. That could happen in any content area. I'm going to move now to my assessments. How do I know that they know and can do those three objectives? So here's my assessments. I can create an infographic, video, or web page that names characteristics of and explains the value of community service. Okay. There's choice built in, but if you go back, you can see it's the same type of thinking and doing as in the two first objectives. So I have one assessment that is measuring the first two objectives. And then the third objective, I can discuss ideas, build consensus, and vote. My assessment is going to be work as a team member to choose topics of interest, to choose tasks and products. So, and the assessment here will not be a rubric, as in the first assessment. It's going to be a self and peer feedback and teacher observation. So you can start to see from my assessment how it's going to lead into the opportunities I need to have for them for practice. If my objectives are these ideas about naming characteristics and explaining value and working as a team to discuss values and to discuss things and come to consensus. But I'm going to assess specifically on some things about community service and certain types of infographics or videos or web pages. Working in teams, you can start to see now what stage where this is going to lead me in stage 3. What's really important for you to think about in doing your stage 2 is that you have what we call alignment, that the verbs in stage 1 of the objectives and the verbs in stage 2 of the assessments match, that they are the same thing. And you can test that for yourself by using your flip book or that one sheet that I gave you in Module 2. They need to match. They need to be the same. It's not fair to expect a student on an objective to apply and then assess them on recall. They're not the same kind of thinking and doing. So make sure that you have that alignment. Very, very important. So you do have some other resources here to help you. So make sure you look at this assessment based on Bloom. This is a great short video, extremely helpful. Another short reader, very good, it will help you start thinking about assessment. And then some ideas for assessment if you're very, very new to this or you just like some new inspiration. And remember to do the self-check for understanding. Make sure you have all the concepts right, and then submit your work. Again, anything submitted by 9 o'clock in the morning, I will get back to you by noon that day. And as long as your first attempt at assessments is in by the due date, you will not be late. We'll probably have conversation about it and turn it in 2, 3, 4 times before we're both happy with it. If you have any questions, email or tweet your instructor.